This is a Crack House Chronicles production.
Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man that says, if it were up to him, you all would get a discount for using the self-checkout. It's Dale.
You get a discount for self-out?
I don't know, I'd like to have a discount for using the self-checkout.
Well, at least get a, $10.99 or something.
Yeah, because you're actually,
Go to the
you're
Christmas
working,
party.
you're working. An invite to the Christmas party.
Yeah, something. Get something out of it.
Just show up, hey, fellow coworker.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I've worked much as you have, many times I've been in here.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I try not to use the self-checkout unless I just have to.
Yeah. There are times it is advantageous.
If I got one or two little things, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm
But
ready
if
to
I
get
got a
that
buggy full, somebody's going to help me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're going to help me with my stuff.
Put it in the bag.
Yeah. Bag it up and I can get on out of there.
Yeah.
What's going on today, dude?
Same old, same old.
Same old. Back in the Crack House doing an episode. We got a good one this week.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Different, for sure.
Yeah, definitely different. You got any good shout-outs for anybody you want to mention?
Well, we do have like a little bit of stuff to talk about this morning.
Dale's got that clap.
Yeah. First of all, I'll say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah, happy late Thanksgiving coming out after this episode.
Yeah, but it is the season, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's the season.
Anyway, we have a brand new Apple 5-star podcast review, and it comes from Kristen Ross. That's capital R-O, little S-S, Ross. Yes. It is entitled Exceptional.
Yeah,
We just leave it at that. Literally the best podcast I have ever listened to. So I hope it ain't the only one, because then you don't have no competition.
I'm sure it's the only one you listen to.
Either way, literally the best podcast I've ever listened to. Keeps you interested and on your toes. Love the humor to break up the seriousness, and love the jokes on old Dale.
Oh yeah, we got something to say about Dale every time.
With a little laughy emoji. Anyway, have a great day, boys, and keep on making us happy.
Well, we try to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Give a little bit for everybody that listens to us.
And that makes us happy.
It really does.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, I'd like to get here. I'm over here standing here like Roman Reigns with my finger in the air. And then I want to say, Donna Millwood Jolly, we acknowledge you.
You have been acknowledged.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So thanks for everybody and all y'all's comments.
Maybe you should get a plaque or something.
Scrape it off your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I'd like to thank everybody who shot out a little thing for the invites, man. We got like 600 new followers. And
oh, yeah.
If all you new followers would do the same thing, man, we could get a few more folks in the house.
Yeah, you go on there and click those 3 little dots on our page and go down to invite friends and invite all your friends to like our page.
Yeah, great. Keep on. We'd have to put that little leaf in the middle of the table. Having room for everybody.
Yeah.
Spread it on out.
Yeah, I didn't have to put the leaf in the table for Thanksgiving because one of my relatives was still in prison, so I didn't have to put the leaf in the table.
I didn't either. We always sit in the living room. We don't care. It's probably the most non-traditional Thanksgiving you ever done. But
it's together. That's what
works.
matters.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just calm down. We'll get it.
But if anybody else wants to be like Kristen Ross, you can go to Apple Podcast and leave a 5-star rate and review. Write something in that box, and we'll get a notification, and you get a big old shout out.
That's right. And keep an eye on that T-shirt shop stuff is on sale.
It does go on sale every now and then, and you can get it at a discount price.
Yes, you can.
And every purchase helps keep the lights running at the Crack House.
And you can look dang good, too.
Oh, yeah. That's right. All right, Dale, after this short break, we're going to get going on this episode.
All right, bro. Let's do it.
All right, Dale, we're back.
We are back.
And we're going up to New York on this episode.
Start spreading the news.
Yep, up to New York.
Oh, okay.
And we're talking today about a guy by the name of Gilberto Valle III.
Well.
But everybody called him Gil.
Gil.
And his last name's spelled V-A-L-L-E. Several things that while checking in on this episode, trying to research it, everybody pronounced his name differently.
Correct.
Vallier, Val. But I saw an interview with his attorney, and she pronounced it Valley. So if the attorney pronounces it that way, then that's got to be his name.
Well, it's a lot closer and differently.
Valley, yeah. But just a little bit of background on Gil Valle. He was born on April the 14th, 1984 in Queens, New York.
Right.
And at a young age, when he was around 5 years old, his parents separated. Yeah. But he was primarily raised by his mother. I think their parents, they fussed all the time.
Well, that ain't good, is it?
No, and I don't know if that had effect on him or not. Well, his young childhood.
Possibly.
Could have.
But, he's pretty young.
Yeah, around 5 years old when they separated. But he primarily was raised by his mother in the Middle Village neighborhood of Queens. And Valle, his childhood was described as relatively normal and pretty unremarkable.
Right.
He was a popular kid who enjoyed playing baseball and was also an honor student at Archbishop Malloy High School. This is a private Catholic school in nearby Briarwood. And after graduating high school, he attended the University of Maryland at College Park, where he majored in psychology and graduated in 2006 with a bachelor's degree. So, yeah. And he was on the dean's list, too.
So he didn't have a terrible childhood and have brain concussions and all that either?
No,
Okay.
Didn't wet to bed or anything like that.
Did burn no cats in the furnace?
No, but like I said, he was on the dean's list during his college years, and he had a pretty good education, pretty smart guy.
Right.
And it was described during his adolescent years that he was watching a movie.
Yeah.
The Mask.
The Mask.
Starring Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And during this movie, there was a scene in it that affected him pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was...
Made him all tingly.
It did. It made him feel kind of funny. But this was a scene where Cameron Diaz, her character was tied up.
Yeah, it's tied to it like a pole or a tree or something.
Yeah. And this fascinated Gil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it became a significant part of his life.
Yeah, he became very aroused by this,
He
this
really
scene
did.
with this woman tied up.
Yeah.
Kind of sparking a little bit of things going on inside there.
Yeah, a secret inner world, as we would say.
Yeah.
And some taboo thoughts. And these fantasies and thoughts, they remained confined to his mind for several years.
Right.
So we're going to get into a little bit more about Gil Valle, too, because when he graduated from college, he pursued a career in law enforcement, joining the New York City Police Department.
The NYPD.
Yeah, in December of 2006, at the age of 22.
Right.
And at that time, he was assigned to the 26th Precinct in Morningside Heights in Manhattan. This is out there in Harlem.
Okay.
Yeah, where he served as a patrol officer. And his colleagues described him as a competent cop. He was unremarkable and with no prior disciplinary issues.
Yeah, he was a good cop.
Oh, yeah. And in addition to his police work, he also held a part-time job with a construction company, which helped keep him financially stable.
Right.
But on a personal level, Gil, he met his future wife. And he met his future wife through a dating website called OkCupid.
OkCupid.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but
I don't remember it either, but this lady's name was Kathleen Mangan.
right.
And she was a teacher. They went out on a date, and it was reported that they had a pretty good time that night. They laughed and joked and just had a...
They hit it off.
They did.
Yeah.
And when the date was over, she leaned in and just laid a big kiss on him.
Yeah, which probably blew his mind because you got to remember he was still virgin at this time.
He was, yes.
He's 25 years old. He's a police officer working hard. And he was said that he was always terrified of doing anything because he was thought he might get somebody pregnant and that would knock him off what he was trying to accomplish.
Yeah. But this lady fell head over heels in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So they continued dating, and the romance got pretty serious, and they moved into their first apartment. It was a one-bedroom on 88th Street and 3rd Avenue there in New York.
Right.
But Kathleen Mangan remembers in those early years that life was fun, and she commented publicly about their life and their marriage, that they laughed together and it was nice, and he always opened the doors and pulled out the chairs for her.
Yeah, he done everything. He was a good dude.
Just a perfect gentleman.
Right.
But their life changed a little bit when she got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he heard the news, he said to himself, I can't do this. I mean, he was like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Well, don't we all?
Oh yeah, it's a big deal.
Right.
He stepped up and he went and took out a loan against his retirement that he had built up. I guess he built up a little bit while he was in the police force. And he took out a loan for $16,000
Right.
to help with all this. They were going to get a bigger place.
Yeah,
and
he was getting a 2-bedroom and then to help with all the costs coming in with the baby.
That's right. So they moved to a bigger apartment. Like you said, it was a 2-bedroom in Forest Hills, and they were married on June the 19th, 2012. It was 9 months after the birth of their daughter, Josephine.
Right.
Yeah. And it was reported the wedding was nice, but the marriage wasn't.
Not so much.
No. Kathleen, his wife, said that Gil rarely helped her with the baby.
Yeah.
And Kathleen said when he would come home after work from the precinct, she usually wouldn't wait up.
Well, that's late, man.
Yeah.
She'd been working, doing baby stuff all day long. Midnight's late.
And sex wasn't happening at all.
Well, when do you have time for that?
Yeah, especially when you got a newborn baby.
Yeah.
It just gets shut off right quick.
Yeah, like it or not.
But even when they did have time to have sex, it never ended well.
Yeah. She basically said he just never could finish.
That's what she
for
said.
whatever reason, yeah. Then he would just jump up and run to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That was what she said.
Yeah.
And after a while, she said that he would just completely avoid her. Instead, play video games, watch TV, and just go on the internet until 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning.
Right.
Or just not come to bed at all.
Yeah. Now, he would say, coming home, after, rough day on the force, doing whatever you do as a patrol officer, you're out in the middle of it, and you come home, I'm sure you're pretty wired up still. You ain't ready to go to bed either, so you're just going to set up and do something, whether it's watch TV or, like you say, video games, jump on the internet. But, 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning, I don't know what his shift was, but that seems a little late.
You got to do something to decompress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about 6 or 7 hours of decompressing, but...
Yeah. But when they were together, she'd see her husband surfing websites of ESPN, Major League Baseball, and The Rant, which was a message board for the NYPD.
Right.
But there was one day in the summer of 2012, it was shortly after their wedding, she noticed that he got to erasing his search history.
Well, I think his personal computer had crashed or something. So he started using her laptop.
Correct.
So he was probably erasing his history off her laptop.
Yeah, it wasn't long after that. She learned that what he was really looking at.
Yeah.
She had opened up her MacBook and saw that he hadn't logged out of his account and noticed there were 2 little files on the bottom, and she said she clicked on them.
Yes, she did.
And they were images. And while the pictures themselves didn't load, she was able to see the URL from where they came from.
Correct.
And she clicked it again and saw the homepage of a website called Dark Fetish Network.
The Dark Fetish Network.
Yeah. And it was porn, she said, and it was disturbing.
Very much so.
According to her, she said, I know S&M is kind of popular, like the 50 Shades of Grey, but it seemed like this was different.
Right.
Yeah,
you think?
The girl on the homepage was dead.
Yeah.
At least she looked dead anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Until that moment, Kathleen had thought that if she were prettier or if she had just cleaned or cooked more, that maybe he would want her or want to be with her.
Yeah, she's always wondered why he didn't, want to be with her. It's kind of odd, And even, I think when she first started looking into stuff and seeing maybe he was in some of this BDSM stuff, she even offered to maybe we should try that, maybe grab a sex toy or maybe get some handcuffs and some ties or some kind of satin stuff to tie each other up or something like that, just to see if that would help. But he kind of played it off and like he didn't want to go to a store and buy that stuff, like he was embarrassed or something.
Yeah.
So she was trying, and I think once she got in a little deeper, she might have been a little second thought, because especially if you saw somebody she thought was dead, and that's just a little bit weird.
Yeah. And
that's a lot of bit weird.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, she went to him to try to fix this part of their relationship. That she saw that maybe we need to do something, and she would seem to be wanting to meet him at some point in this.
Right, meet in the middle, especially, everything had been shut off basically since, probably since she was, before she was pregnant, if I could talk, and maybe have a little breakthrough and start communicating a little bit more and maybe bring things back together.
Yeah. But he, like you said, he didn't want to go to the sex store to buy any of this stuff.
So he just kind of blew her off.
Yeah. But they both changed by this discovery. Mm-hmm. She couldn't stop thinking about what she had seen. And he seemed suspicious of everything she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on September the 9th of 2012, Kathleen, she installed some spyware on their computer.
Yeah, basically like a keystroke logger, right?
Yeah, it recorded all your
Everything.
keystrokes, and I think it took a screenshot every 5 minutes of what was happening on the screen.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
And according to her, she said she had no choice. She was scared.
Yes.
So the next day, Kathleen got on her computer and she saw all the websites that her husband Gil had been visiting. One of them was darkfetishnet.com, girlsinabind.com, and fetlife.com.
Yeah, all these real dark fetish places.
Yeah, but that wasn't all.
Right.
She saw her name in his instant message chats. Yeah, and she started clicking on those, and all of a sudden, she was staring at pictures of herself.
Yes.
Pictures of her friends, pictures of people they knew, and she entered her name in a search of his email. And what she saw, it just overwhelmed her, Dale. She read this.
Think?
Yeah, she was reading the stuff saying that she was going to be tied up by her feet and her throat slit. And they would have fun watching me die as the blood gush out of me because I was young. And it also said, if I cry, don't listen to her. Don't give her mercy.
He replied to whoever he was talking to here.
Yeah, he said, it's okay. We'll just gag her.
So he's talking instant messaging some folks that he has met through this dark fetish net.
Talking about killing and eating his wife.
Killing and cooking and eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, can you imagine seeing this on a computer of your spouse talking about you to another person?
No, not at all. Especially when you're not aware at all of what he's thinking.
She thought he was just in the S&M stuff and this
Right.
bondage stuff.
And if you go back to him, he probably, since he, like you said, he saw the thing with Cameron Diaz or whatever, he's been thinking about this since he was a kid, and it's just been ramping up. And then he got into this website once the internet came around, and he found other people who kind of thought like him, because they always said that, even he had these weird thoughts, he never shared them with anybody because he knew they were weird thoughts.
Yeah.
Then once he got on the internet and found that there was other people who had weird thoughts, then they're talking and ramping up and talking, and one up and the other, and it's just normal to him, and he shuts it off, and then Sheila pulls up the computer and gets right in the middle of it, and it just had to be mind-blowing.
Oh, I can't even imagine. And then she sat on this, knowing this information, she sat on it for a couple weeks. Yeah, knowing what he was doing, and didn't do anything about it because she was making plans.
Yeah, she's not figuring what the hell to do here.
She's going to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
So she booked a flight to her parents, and they lived in Nevada. And she ended up taking the baby with her. And days later, she logged into the spyware program again, and that's where she found a trove of S&M images of women being tortured and sexually assaulted.
Right.
She saw records of Google searches for phrases like how to kidnap a woman and human meat recipes.
Human meat.
Yeah. And she opened files with pictures of more than 80 women he had downloaded from Facebook and other sources. And she read email conversations. And Gil had 3 different people in which he had discussed the various ways he might kidnap, rape, kill, and cook these women. So Kathleen was one of these women.
Yes.
His wife. But there were others. There was an old friend of hers from work. Gil's supervisor at the 26th precinct was one of these. There was a teenage girl who had just graduated from Gil's old high school, and quite a few other of his college friends.
Pretty much anybody he had caught his eye, I think, that he was kind of turned on to.
Yeah, there was one of them he wrote about. He said that I'll be eyeing her from head to toe, licking my lips, looking for the day I can cram a chloroform-soaked rag in her face. Yeah. So during this time, Gil, he had been talking to his wife, Kathleen, while she was in Nevada, trying and begging to get her to come back, explaining this is just a fetish, this is just me talking, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's not real, it's just fantasy.
Yeah, but Kathleen, she had other plans, Dale.
Well, she's probably still in shock, I would think.
Yeah. Gil thinking that she's going to come back and work things out. His wife, Kathleen, she contacted the FBI.
She did.
Yeah. So it was shortly after 2 p.m. on October the 24th of that year, a group of FBI agents, they descended upon the apartment in Forest Hill. So now the FBI, to avoid a possible confrontation with Gil or maybe even a shootout.
Right.
Yeah. They used a ruse to lure Gil out of the apartment. And they lured him into a hallway. What they did, they called his home phone or the apartment phone, and they told him that his car that was parked outside had been hit.
Correct.
So Gil went out in a sweatshirt and jeans to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And the second he saw them, he understood what was happening.
Yep.
There was a FBI agent placed a hand on his shoulder and said, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay.
And Gil said, I don't think so.
Mm.
So he's like, oh, hell, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah. All right, Dale. Before the break, Gil had been arrested.
Yep.
And in no time, the newspapers and tabloids had given him a moniker.
The Cannibal Cop.
That's what they named him. And as Gil sat in jail for 5 months, awaiting trial on a charge of conspiracy to kidnap, details from his bail hearings told the story of a husband secretly plotting to abduct several women at once, including his own wife, Kathleen.
Yeah.
And the FBI, they singled out emails in which he strategized how he would do it. And he even negotiated fees for kidnappings.
Yes.
And they scanned his work-related computer searches, claiming that he had shadowed his targets using resources available to him as a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, using their computers.
Yeah, they had a system that he would use to, I guess...
Find addresses and et cetera.
Yeah, but he was using this to find out addresses of possible victims.
Yeah.
So there was a U.S. attorney named Preet Baraha. I probably butchered that name, but that was the U.S. attorney's name, said after the arrest, when you consider Gil Valle's position as a New York City police officer and his sworn duty to serve and protect.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is very weird.
Basically saying how disturbing this case is.
And Gil was saying, all this was just him doing fantasy.
Yeah, he's like, y'all got it all wrong. This is just me, like you said, getting into my own head, my fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
So he had taken it that far. But he would just come home and look that stuff up, and that's what was doing it for him.
That was his life on the computer.
Yeah.
So once the trial started, there seemed to be 2 different cases that were being argued in this trial. There was an actual charge against Gil for conspiracy to kidnap, and then there was this subtext that he was technically not on trial for. He was a specter of what Gil might do in the future if he were allowed to go free. And plenty of aspects of criminal cases involve at least some discussion of how much of a danger the accused poses to society. I get that too. If somebody does something, do we need to let him out?
Right.
If they're going to reoffend. But Gil hadn't...
He ain't done nothing.
No, they hadn't done anything. And the judges, they issue warrants and set bails and sentences based on all these elements of what the criminals do.
Mm-hmm.
But what made the case against Gil Valle unique, according to his lawyers, was that absolutely everything the government was using as evidence that he was dangerous was based on his thoughts.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, the gory details of the case against Gil were disturbing enough at first even to alarm his court-appointed lawyer.
Right.
And the lawyer said, never in my career have I ever hesitated to tell the marshals to take the handcuffs off a client when I'm interviewing them one-on-one. That's what his lawyer, Julia Gatto, said.
Correct.
And this was the first time in my career I'd ever, just for a second, thought about keeping the handcuffs on.
Even though he hadn't done anything.
Yeah. Because all this stuff he had been writing online.
Right. Well, even when they go back and they're saying, he was planning all these kidnappings and everything at the same time and all this stuff, that was just from different conversations with different people in those chat rooms. And he was, telling this, but, it was all be, dates would come and dates would go, nothing would happen. And they were just keeping the ruse up, they were just keeping their fantasy alive. That's all they were doing, basically, in my point. And even like where he's talking about, going back and forth over money or this, whatever. He said he would deliver somebody for $5,000. Another person would say, well, could you do 4? I'm like, no, I might get in trouble or whatever. I got to be 5. Blah. It was that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody's sending any money. Nobody's accepting any money. So it's just, right now it's all in his head. That and the computer.
And what he's writing down.
Correct.
Nothing, he's not acting on anything.
What he's typing in these stuff is pretty damn rough. Don't get me wrong, but right now he hasn't done anything.
No. So talking about this website that he was using, the main one he was using was the Dark Fetish Network, or DFN.
Which is still up today.
Yeah, you looked at it, and it's
I looked at the main page.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it.
Does it still have a picture of a dead woman on there?
Not what I saw. It's just come up and you had to log in or create an account, and you couldn't see anything from what I see, and I definitely was not doing that.
But this DFN, the Dark Fetish Network, is a social network with nearly 50,000 reported users.
Right.
And members use alias and share photos and tell stories to one another in sort of a group fantasy exercise.
Correct.
The homepage even displays a disclaimer stating that everything discussed on their network is not real. This place is about fantasies only, so play safe.
Yes.
That's exactly what it says.
Yeah, that is on the homepage.
But the anonymity of the members on the site make it impossible to know the true intentions of anyone else on there.
So, yeah, you're supposed to be, it's all fantasy, but you never know.
But based on what they discovered on Gil's computer, prosecutors said that he had only started visiting the Dark Fantasy Network in late 2011 or early 2012.
But he had been on it like 1,000 times.
Yes.
Now, his anonymous sign-in handle was Girl Meat Hunter.
Well, that's not dark at all, is it?
No,
Girl Meat Hunter.
Girl Meat, M-E-A-T.
Girl Meat is all one word.
Yeah, Girl Meat Hunter.
Oh, man. So using this Girl Meat Hunter name, he started instant messaging and directly with those members and exchanging emails for offline fantasies. And by the time his wife set up the spyware in September, Gil had quit the Dark Fantasy Network, but records of email chats that took place outside of that network with 3 alleged co-conspirators remained on his computer.
Right.
There was a 22-year-old car mechanic from southern New Jersey, which wasn't far away from him there in New York.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Michael Van Heist. There was a British man that Gil knew as Moody Blues, whom the FBI identified as Dale Bollinger, and someone using the username Ali Khan, who apparently was logging in from Pakistan.
Mm.
Yeah. So in January, Gil had emailed Van Heist photos of Alicia Friska. This was a friend of his wife Kathleen, who taught at the school where she had once worked, and offered to kidnap her for this $5,000 that you were talking about earlier.
Right.
And that's when Van Heist, they were trying to negotiate, wanting to see if he could do $4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gil told me, said, "I'm putting my neck on the line here. If something goes wrong, I'm in deep shit.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to make it $5,000 to make sure that she's not found."
And you need to make sure she's not found, because she would definitely make the news when she gets going.
Yeah. There were some chats about the time with this Ali Khan, the one in Pakistan. Gil suggested that taking Kathleen on a trip to India, where the two of them would kill her and prepare her for dinner. And they would take turns, he wrote, after sending him a photo of his wife in a bikini.
Yeah, we'll take turns with her.
Yeah. They also discussed killing a lady by the name of Andrea Noble. This was one of his college friends. And it's personal with Andrea, what Gil wrote. She will absolutely suffer. Later, he added that he had found a recipe for chloroform online. And he said, "I'm in the middle of constructing a pulley system in his basement to string her up by her feet."
Correct.
Man. So he's, yeah.
Yeah, because they said you're going to need chloroform. He's like, well, I got a recipe. I can just make it at home.
Yeah. So by summer, Gil had spent more time chatting with Moody Blues. This was the guy from England.
Right.
And he was bragging that his oven was big enough to fit a victim in it if he folded her legs, and mentioning that he had a place up in the mountains too.
Right, where nobody's around for at least 3/4 of a mile, and they can do whatever they want, cook them outside or whatever.
Yeah. No one can hear them scream.
Yep.
But this is when, them talking back and forth, they settled on another lady that Gil had been sending pictures of. This lady, her name was Kimberly Sauer, S-A-U-E-R. And this lady was a college friend of Gil's. And Gil started planning the details. He even said, "Once she is dead, I will take her out and properly butcher her body and cook the meat right away." And that could be out on a rotisserie too. And Gil later emailed Moody Blues a short Word document titled abducting and cooking Kimberly a blueprint. I can't even imagine
finding all this on a computer.
No, and he listed materials he'd need to do the job: a car, chloroform, and directions saying that he'd need to refer to a website for directions.
How to make it.
Yeah, he said he needed a rope, a gag, or duct tape, a tarp, or plastic bags to protect the trunk of the car from any DNA remains, and more bags for the lady's clothes and some cheap sneakers. So he's going into some detail about what he's going to need, what he's going to have to do
to be able to do this and get away with it.
Kidnap this lady and cut her up and cook her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking about on a rotisserie, he would take the spit and stick it right up through her.
Up through the uterus.
Yeah.
God,
that was another part of it, right?
Just spin her over a fire.
Yeah.
And on various occasions in the past, Gill had used the New York Police Department's database to search for information about a lady by the name of Maureen Hardigan. This was a high school friend of his. But these searches typically offer basic information such as home addresses, date of birth, their height, weight, eye color, and if they have any criminal records.
Right.
But prosecutors saw this as further evidence that Gill's plans were serious, Dale.
Mm-hmm.
So on July the 22nd, Gill reported having seen Kimberly Sauer in person at a brunch to visit old friends from the University of Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that she looked absolutely mouth-watering. He said he could hardly contain himself.
Now, on this weekend trip, he also took his wife and kid, though, right?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, so they were all there. So it's not like, I know they try to make it out to where he was there, like, scoping out and seeing what he could do and, you know, checking it out. But he also took his family. So.
Yeah, he wasn't hiding in the bushes watching her.
Right.
On August the 24th, they even discussed ways Gill might kidnap another woman. Her name was Kristen Ponticelli. She was a recent graduate of Gill's old high school, whom he had never met personally. But Gill's lawyers assume he just noticed her from a Facebook account.
Maybe, yeah.
And the next day, they moved on to Andrea Noble. And they said if Andrea lived near me, she would be gone by now, Gill wrote. Even if I get caught, she would be worth it.
Wow.
Man.
You know, and a lot of these pictures are sticking up. You know, I've seen interviews with him, and he said, you know, a lot of that stuff came from people were posting pictures all over the place, but then it got to be where it'd be like a gallery where you would say, how about this or that? And people would post a picture of a lady and go, would you do this or that or whatever? And so,
what would you do to her?
Yeah, would it kill or sell or cook or sell or whatever? And that's when he started putting up just people he knew to see what other people thought about it, I think. You know, with his wife and then all these girls, he would put the real pictures of them. He would pull off their Facebook accounts and go, well, would y'all sell this person or cook them?
Yeah.
So that's why he's using all these people, because the kind of stuff it's turning him on. He wanted to see what other people thought about it as well.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, these guys chatting back and forth on this dark fetish network, they're ramping each other up.
Yeah.
They're feeding off each other on it, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're feeding off each other on.
Right.
They're
making the story bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah. But when they got to looking into Gill's home, his apartment there, Dale, there was no physical evidence suggesting he was getting ready to kidnap or cook anyone.
No.
No large oven for a human, no cleaver, no homemade chloroform. Prosecutors had no proof he had had a place in the mountains.
No. In the basement, in the building where he was, he didn't have no big pulley system truss set up either. It was a laundromat.
Yeah.
For the building. So everything's bullshit he's telling so far.
And they had no proof that Gill knew the identities of the three people that he was chatting with.
Right.
And Gill never divulged the names of any people whose photographs he passed along. They were just photographs with no names attached to them, not even his wife's. And never gave out any of their addresses. And even after Moody Blues, the guy in England, specifically requested one, he sort of switched up the details about their life stories and college educations.
Yeah.
Just keeping the fantasy real.
Correct.
Yeah. Perhaps more important, Gill's Dark Fetish Network user profile announces that he just fantasizes. I guess a little bio there you have with your profile. I don't know how that works, but I'm just assuming it's, whatever's on your profile.
Yeah.
They just said it's just fantasizing.
All of it's fantasy.
And that he doesn't mean what he says. The kidnapping plans in the chats and web searches of women who interested him all come and go without follow-through.
Yep.
Like fantasies, one resumes with different names and details. 3 different women "We're going to be kidnapped on President's Day," said Edward Zoss, another one of Gil's defense lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
That day comes and goes. Nothing happens.
Right.
And then it was going to be Labor Day, and then nothing.
Well, I mean, how's he going to do 3 at one time? I mean, a lot of them are not near each other, you know.
Yeah, so once they get done with their little fantasy chat and their talk, they're done.
Yeah.
Gil logs off and he goes on about his Gil life. He's not acting on anything or doing anything.
He's back to Gil instead of a girl meat hunter.
Yeah. But the defense, man, they had a tough time
Oh, yeah.
trying to make a jury get past all this imagery of him being a cannibal cop. I mean, this was in the news.
Yeah.
The only way you can defend this case was to take on a burden of convincing the jury somehow that
he was never
he
going to
couldn't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can you get past all this stuff? But they had a forensic psychiatrist that came in. His name was Park Dietz, and he traveled downtown to the Manhattan Detention Center to conduct a psychiatric examination with Gil. But no one on either side of this case ever claimed that Gil was insane, but since the case against him revolved almost entirely around his chats, his lawyers felt they needed a forensic psychiatrist to weigh in on this central question about his persona that he had online.
Right.
If it was real, if it could become real.
Correct.
And this Dr. Dietz, Park Dietz, in his 30-year career, I mean, he'd been vetted. He had interviewed some big-name criminals.
Yeah.
He had interviewed John Hinckley Jr., Betty Broderick, Andrea Yates, and even Joel Rifkin.
And Jeffrey Dahmer, too, I think.
He did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what Park Dietz potentially had to offer his defense was something similar to all the systematic attempts at pre-criminal analysis. The doctor already knew from Gil's NYPD psychology file that the officer had been administered the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. This is a standard test meant to identify personality structure and detect signs of psychopathy.
Right. Before you become a police officer.
Yeah. And this test showed no clinical psychopathology, the doctor said. And that's not something I run into very much.
Right.
Yeah. But then there was those emails, Dale. When he would read them, Dr. Dietz honestly didn't know what to think. From the chats and emails, there was no way to tell. The chats and emails allow for multiple inferences.
Yeah, so you can take them any way you want.
Yeah. Is it bad or is it just talk?
Right. You know, if you take them at their words, that's pretty damn alarming. Which, you know, I'm pretty sure it's the way his wife took it.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
So this Dr. Park Dietz, he spent 18 hours with Gil Valle.
Over 3 days.
Yeah. Discussing openly for the first time with another human being. Gil was telling all of his stuff to this doctor.
Yeah, all of his stuff about his sex life and stuff, he'd kept him to himself his whole life.
Yeah. Talking about his childhood, his fantasies with Cameron Diaz being tied up in the movie The Mask. You know, that was the one that set it off.
All that and inhibitions and all his stuff about masturbation, everything. He told him everything.
He did. He didn't hold back. So by the end of high school, this is what he was telling Dr. Dietz.
Right.
He discovered bondage websites, and in college he found fetish websites, including Mookie's Kitchen. This is a campy site that specializes in staged cannibalism, pornography, and women tied up on spits with apples in their mouths. And Gil was turned on by this.
Which was weird because in real life he treated women with lots of respect.
Exactly.
And never threatened anyone. You know, really, at this time, you remember, he was not even having sex.
No.
Back in this time, you know.
No.
Not until he met his wife.
Yeah.
At 25 years old. So, pretty wild.
But this very thing that might have offered Gil some release, speaking openly about his fetishes, was too explosive for him to contemplate. So he kept it all in a secret for as long as he could.
Yeah.
And once he was sharing his secret with strangers on the internet, the basis of the government's conspiracy argument that they were talking about, you know, him writing all this stuff, is it possible that there could be danger and harder for him to stop?
Yeah, I could see how they see it that way, man. You know,
and him escalating.
You know, it could escalate into that. But basically, what you're seeing here is just he's living two different lives.
Yeah.
He's got this fetish thing in his head that he's thinking about all the time, and then over here is just regular old Gil. And then when she found that computer, the two worlds collided.
Yeah.
And that's when all this is going down.
Like two freight trains hitting each other on the track.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And it's not going to end well at all. Mm-mm. But this Dr. Park Dietz, he said that he understood how the evidence could be construed in that way.
Right.
And he sees him as many, many steps removed from the kind of person that might start to take action. But this Dr. Park Dietz is convinced that to become a sex criminal acting on your paraphilia, you need more than your paraphilia. He searched for evidence of something in Gil's personality. All the past actions and aggressive actions and character flaws, and he couldn't find one. He couldn't find anything.
Right.
But by Dr. Dietz's reckoning, the circumstances surrounding the chats that Gil was having and the volumes about how ludicrous they were, and if Gil ever had a fleeting thought of acting or harming a woman, Doctor said he certainly did everything in his power to ensure that he would immediately identified as the offender if he did so. So this Dr. Dietz is saying that he didn't see anything that Gil had in him that he could do these
stuff that he's been talking about.
Yeah,
right.
It was just all talk.
Yeah,
and fantasies. But Dr. Dietz also said that this is just like a man who has a fetish, who will repeatedly go back and look on the same picture of a woman wearing a particular kind of undergarment.
Yeah, whatever flips your trigger, I guess.
Yeah, it's just fantasy.
Yeah.
And he also said that Gil is one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. And I've seen interviews with Gil, and he seems just like a regular guy.
Yeah.
With a fetish.
They typed a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah. But so much of the prosecution case ended up being about the emails.
Right. They didn't put Dr. Dietz or Gil on the stand.
No, they didn't. Believing more detailed questions about Gil's fetish would only distract from the conspiracy charges, which they saw just flimsy. And during the summations on March the 7th, Gil wept as he listened to his lawyer describe how his wife had left him because of the way he had broadcast his fetish online.
Yeah.
His foolishness on the internet, his insensitivity, his ugly thoughts have cost him everything, the lawyer said. She allowed that we all should just be disturbed by Gil's thoughts, but drove home the notion that those thoughts weren't the subject of the trial.
Right.
They were disturbing, they were disgusting. We should be upset that people are thinking these thoughts, but they are not criminal.
They are not criminal.
Mm-mm. But the prosecutor, meanwhile, depicted Gil as reckless and out of control. And in his summation, Randall Jackson, he referred to Gil's web searches for Kristen Ponticelli's address. He said there is something incredibly wrong just on that fact with a New York police officer talking about killing a high school student and then Googling trying to find out information about her address.
Right.
And this is a man who is trying to move a plan into action. That's what the prosecution was saying.
Correct.
So on March the 12th, the jury announced that they had found Gil Valle guilty.
Yes.
Yeah, and Gil just shook his head and was taken away.
Wow.
Yeah, and his mother, who had been there every day, asked, what trial were they watching?
Good Lord.
And the lawyer for Gil told reporters this was a thought prosecution.
Yeah.
The jury couldn't get past his thoughts.
So he got convicted on thoughts.
Yeah. And at least one member of the jury disagreed. They said what we did in good conscience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said clearly we believed this fantasy was going to step up into reality. So basically the jury were saying that we're stopping this before it can get started.
That's what they were saying.
So they're thinking that this guy, even though seems like the nicest guy you've seen, never done anything, never bought anything, never acted out in any kind of way, they're thinking, well, all it's taking is just a little more time and he will.
Yeah.
So they're basically convicted him for what might happen, not what he's done.
What he's thinking and writing.
Correct.
Yeah. Man, I've never seen anything like this before. No,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. Everything he done was really crazy and way out there. But really, to me, the only thing that I see that he really done to get him in trouble was using his official website stuff to look up people's addresses and stuff like that.
Yeah, his official capacity to be able to look this information up.
That's very wrong.
Yeah, if that's what he was using it for.
Well, I'm sure he was.
Yeah. But the FBI didn't walk away from this dark fetish network after Gil's arrest. On January the 4th, 2013, they arrested one of his guys he'd been talking with. the Van Heist at his home in Hamilton, New Jersey. He was a 22-year-old admitted to the police that he had had a violent sexual fantasies, some even involving children. But his wife defended him as a big teddy bear and noted that she had known about the fetish before they got married and was cool with it, she told reporters. It's disturbing, yeah, but you have to accept your partner's flaws in a marriage. It's not perfect. He's not perfect. But he was arrested. Because I guess they were looking at all these other people he were talking to.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going, especially the three main ones that, with all these chats with.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're like, well, we're looking at you, and you hadn't done anything, but we're going to go look at them and see what they're doing.
Yep.
Because you never know.
Yeah, and they were even looking at other people that they only talked to just a few times. There was one he'd been chatting with on the DFN, Richard Meltz. He was a 65-year-old police chief in Bedford, Massachusetts. And Robert Ashe was a 61-year-old former librarian at the Stuyvesant High School who in 2009 had been arrested and accused of inappropriately touching 4 male students, but the charges were later dropped. But unlike Gil Valle, these men's actions in the physical world were unambiguous. This Ashe and Meltz had both met an undercover agent at a meeting. And Ashe brought with him a bag containing a taser, meat hammer, skewers, and a dental retractor. And along with Van Heist, they went on trial for their actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they already got everything. So they're way past where he is.
Yeah. Gil wasn't even if he was, he never got to this stage.
No.
So the Dale Bollinger.
That's Moody Blue, the guy from England.
Yeah. Told the Post that all his conversations with Gil Valle were fantasy. None of this is real, he said. I am an asshole. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
It was my stupidity because I went and put stupid things online thinking that it was funny.
Right.
He was arrested that November by British authorities working with the FBI.
Right.
But Gil Valle, he faced a maximum of life in prison, Dale.
Yeah, for that conspiracy charge.
Yeah, and a maximum of 5 years for accessing the Federal National Crime Information Database, the one he had been authorized to access with his job.
But not authorized for this.
No.
Right.
But Gil's wife testified against him during the trial, and throughout the trial, Gil claimed that his chat communications were just fantasy, and that he had no intention of acting on them. But he was found guilty on both these charges in March of 2013.
Correct.
The judge, Paul G. Garfdefi, I probably butchered that name too, of the Federal District Court overturned Gil's conviction of the conspiracy charge in June of 2014.
So he's found guilty on March of 2013 and then June of 2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this judge saying that the evidence supported his contention that he was engaged in only fantasy role play. The lesser conviction regarding the database remained standing, and Gil had at this point served 21 months in prison.
Yeah, most of that, confined.
Yeah.
Because he's a police officer.
Yeah, because they didn't want to put him in general pop.
No.
Him being a police officer, like you said. But he was released from prison into home confinement at his mother's house, and in November the judge ended Gil's home confinement sentence to him time served and 1 year of supervised release, including mental health treatment.
Correct.
And the government appealed the dismissal of the government conspiracy charge to the Second Circuit, while Gil similarly appealed his conviction on the database charge. He was able to get out of all these charges.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. All the charges were eventually dropped because the one charge of him accessing the database, they dropped that one too because they said he was authorized to use that database no matter what he was looking for. He could look up anything he wanted to.
Well,
because the other part of the fantasy part, him writing all this stuff online, he never acted on it. So
true. He never gave up nobody's address and all that stuff. So,
no information,
right.
just photographs.
Yeah.
Gil today, he's not doing police work or anything, but he's doing construction work, and he's trying to rebuild his life. And he didn't see his daughter for 21 months. He does have a Match.com page.
Yes.
And he's saying, just trying to find somebody that will accept him for who he is.
Yeah, I think he's wrote a couple books. He even spoke at a crime con. 2018 or 2019?
2019, yeah.
In New Orleans.
He did.
So, and he's still, I don't know, he's still saying the same thing, you know, and he's still going to counseling. So he's like, well, you just don't turn that off. You still think about things, but he has not been on any of these kind of crazy websites or fetish things, he says. He says he does occasionally watch porn, but he said, yeah, who don't? You know, he's kind of, any interview you see with him, he's very, very honest about anything. And even we saw one with Chris Hansen where you're talking to him and asking him those questions. And well, you said this and you said this. He goes, yeah, he doesn't deny anything. He's like, yeah, I said it, but, you know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Just all words.
Yeah. It's just fantasy stuff.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. Do you think Gil, I mean, he didn't do anything at all. Do you think he was maybe ramping up and could eventually have done something and he just got caught and that was a lightning strike moment? Say, I better stop what I'm doing.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so, truthfully. I mean, I don't know the dude, but from everything I've seen, especially interviews with him and stuff, I just don't think he had that in him. I think he was just trying to get his rocks off.
You think so?
Yeah.
He just had a fetish that he liked.
And when he got in there, that thing, he were talking to these people, and they're one-upping each other, so he's looking at pictures and goes, well, what about this girl? I know this girl. What about this girl? So
what would you do to her?
He probably got caught up in that, too. And you know, he uploaded a lot of images.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
Like, I don't know, it was maybe 1,000 or so, but it was a lot of images. But I think he kind of got caught up in that too, and I just don't think he had it in him.
Yeah, upload a photograph and have somebody tell you what they would do to her.
Right, and he's probably getting off on that.
Yeah,
and that's why he was having problems with his wife beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Just the normal wasn't doing it.
No, and he wasn't telling her about his fantasies and his fetishes.
He wasn't telling nobody. You know, he'd just separate people on that anonymous website.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess anything's possible, but I don't know. Kind of way this guy's built, I just don't see it in him. It's not like our typical story where we see people ramping up and they're doing different things, and there's little markers along the way that say, well, you know, level achieved, we're going to the next one. You know,
he's not a bedwetter or putting kittens in the fire and
didn't get smashed in the head and or any of that stuff, or a decent childhood per se.
Yeah, he just saw something that sparked his interest, and he just kept with it.
Right. You know, and I've seen a lot of people just here recently on some stuff, you know, talking about, well, people can't really choose what turns them on in a way, you know, even if it's the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It said basically this is the life that chose him. He didn't choose it.
Yeah. And Gil said also in an interview that he gets messages and death threats, people saying that they just like to shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
So what's the difference in that and what he did?
Nothing.
It's all saying. It's just words.
Mm-hmm. Unless they got a gun sitting in the car outside.
Yeah.
And that's a different story.
Stalking him.
Of course, that'd be like him having a room full of ropes and chloroform.
Yeah, he had none of that.
No.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know. It's a very, very odd, something very different from what we usually do.
Oh, definitely different.
But very interesting at the same time. What do you guys think? Do you think this guy had it in him or no, or what?
Yeah, we want to
be
hear
interested to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, tell us what y'all think. But that is the case of Gilberto Valle, the Cannibal Cop.
The Cannibal Cop.
Not.
Question mark.
Yeah. All right, Dale, we're going to get out here, man.
All right, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe. Please be careful and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is
Crack House
Chronicles.